Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here, and I'm just on my way to go to the beach, but just taking a bit of a break because I wanted to do this video that I feel is a very important video to discuss, and that is achieving the state of self-liberation while you're alive. Now, of course, this goes back to a lot of different religious beliefs, especially with people who have been, Christian, Catholic. Like I said, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness back when I was a little kid as well too. Hated every minute of it, by the way. But one of the things that they would constantly say is, well, don't worry about trying to connect with God while you're alive. Wait until this life is over and then go to God after that. Right? Or maybe it's not even about a religious belief. Maybe it's something non-religious. Brad, I just got to sort out all this stuff in my life. I got to work with my family. I got to take care of my job, my finances, and all this stuff. And when I drop dead, then I'll take care of liberating myself. Right? So whether it's a religious standpoint or a non-religious standpoint, it really doesn't matter because both ideas are absurd, idiotic, and ignorant. Simple as that. It is not about wasting this life thinking that you have to deal with the grind of everything that's in this life to feel like, okay, when the time comes and I finally drop the body and all those layers start to disappear, I'm back with my family, then I can do some healing. Then I can go ahead and take care of my healing. And you know what your ancestors and your loved ones are thinking when you're saying that? They're looking down at you saying, he doesn't have a clue or she doesn't have a clue, do they? Right? You're missing the entire point. This is not a vacation destination. When you are here in this physical body, you're not on vacation. You are here to do work. This is why we concentrate. This is why we condense, physicalize ourselves into this form, because now we're able to look at things with a greater state of concentration, which means we basically take out that state of omnipresence and we come into concentration. We're concentrating on a dot, and you're the dot. And while you're concentrating on that dot, a lot can be done with that concentration on this dot. That state of self-liberation, that state of self-healing, that state of completely freeing yourself from all of these tendencies is at its greatest potential to happen while you're here in this physical body. If you decide to leave this physical body and get into that mentality and saying, well, I'm not having to deal with family anymore, I'm not having to deal with money and taxes and blah, 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 well, you're not able to deal with those in certain forms. But the thoughts remain. The emotions remain, the feelings remain, the mentalities remain within yourself. It becomes a lot more difficult for you to actually liberate yourself while you are in a higher transient form than it is for you to actually be here in a state of concentrated condensing point. This is where it actually is a lot easier. Right? If you're going up into those higher planes and thinking that you're going to resolve all your problems up there, you're deluding yourself. Okay? But a lot of humans do this. Great majority of them do that. And they do get certain levels of healing, but the majority of healing involves them going back again. They have to go back. You looked at all these problems from a concentrated state. How do you expect to resolve these problems from an omnipresent state? You can't do it. Right? There's some things we can look into, there's some things we can resolve, but the great majority of those things need to be resolved when you're concentrated, not when you're omnipresent. Right? So this is why I say now is the time. We are squandering ourselves by not letting ourselves take some time and being able to go within and clean ourselves up. And it's not hard. In fact, it is the easiest and the simplest thing to do. But where we have challenges is we assign these things as if it is a limb of our body, that it's our lifeblood. My pain is my lifeblood. My suffering is my lifeblood. Everything that represents complication and conflict is my lifeblood. How can you possibly ask me to get rid of that? because you see it as identity. You see your pain as identity. And this is not something I've, just started to share with you. This is something that has been shared for years. Nearly 17 years I've been working with tens of thousands of people all over the world, right? And there are those who do want to heal. Unfortunately, it's not a large amount. And there are those who want to complain why they can't heal, even though the answer is right in front of their face. The ability to heal, the ability to liberate yourself has to come not by you attaching to your problems, not to you attaching to your faults, attaching to the externals. Or maybe I just have to give myself up. Maybe I'm going to start renouncing things. Not going to work. Okay? If you start renouncing things, it's going to be at a hiatus for a little bit of time, but then it's going to build up and it's going to swell and you're going to explode. You're going to get back into those tendencies again, because renunciation is not the answer. It's the healing within that's the answer. It's looking at the heart. It's looking at our past. It is everything that I have outlined in the trauma transcendence technique. It's all outlined there. Every step of the way, your pre-prep process, your prep process, the trauma transcendence technique process, it's all there. And that's why I've made it for free. That's why it's available to everybody freely. Because this is something that everybody should know how to do. This is something that everybody should realize. It does not matter how much I try to sweet talk the external or try to feel like I need to give up something externally. When you know you're not ready to, and it's only going to lead to a greater clash down the road. The key to your own salvation and your state of self-liberation is by looking within. It's not with the external. I don't care how much you try to dig. I don't care how much of a whiz or a genius you think you are. By looking outside and externally, believing that that is what's going to resolve your problems, go ahead and try. Because there are people who are doing it lifetime after lifetime, trying to think that as long as I try to find a solution externally, I'm going to liberate myself. No. You're a dog chasing your tail. Again and again, around and around and around. And that's exactly why you come back lifetime after lifetime, because this is a concentrated manner. And because you have not been able to realize that you're back because you're concentrated and you can resolve these things, you keep coming back and thinking that if I'll go off into spirit and I'll heal it all there. No, there's little bits of work you can do in spirit, but it can't really be done there. It has to be done here. Why do you think souls incarnate into this physical plane? For kicks? Why do you think you've incarnated here on the earth? Just for the hell of it? You have incarnated here to heal. You have incarnated here to work. You have incarnated here to look into yourself on a more concentrated level. It's like going to the microscope and seeing that little cell. You're that little cell. You're the concentration. Incarnation is not for shits and giggles. Right? It is here to work. It is here to help you to see more of yourself, to look deeper into yourself without that feeling of distraction to which those higher realms can come together, because they'll make your thoughts reality. They'll make your emotions reality. You'll start shifting into all these different realities that can be absolutely horrifying. So what's the solution? Concentrate myself more until I move into the state of physical incarnation so that I can resolve all of these things. They're no longer hindering me. I can focus on this life. I can focus on this reality. I can focus on this theme because I'm concentrated. That's why we incarnate, my friends. You're not incarnating to dick around. You're incarnating to heal. You're incarnating to work with yourself. You're looking at the facets of yourself while being contained here in this life, in this theme, in this body, in this personality, to help you explore yourself. That's why we incarnate. That's why we have the greatest opportunity to heal. That's why it's so easy to do it here, rather than letting the body croak, feeling all those layers leave you, and then now you're juggling these manifestations of thoughts, feelings, emotions, mentalities that's causing you to shift in different types of realities where you're getting much more distracted based on the externalities of how they're manifesting, rather than looking into yourself in a concentrated way to let all these things go. Do not wait until you're ready to take your last breath, where you feel that that's when I'll get to healing myself, because you won't. How can you possibly know that you're going to utilize that to heal yourself when you don't even know what that's about? You don't even know what it's like to leave this body, to permanently be back into your transient form. How the heck are you going to plan ahead of something you don't know? Right? Have some wit about this. This is something that you're aware of, your life here, how it works, how it operates. You have an awareness about that. This is where all of that work truly pays off, because when you leave this world where there's not a worry in your soul, the grandness of the infinite nature of being is with you, and it's joy and bliss in ways you can't even possibly imagine. And that's why we're here, my friends. Realize that the greatest state of self-liberation comes to you while you're here, when you're alive in this body, when you're concentrated, right? It's like no more different than when you're studying for an exam. You got to concentrate. You got to focus on the tasks. You got to focus on the work. You're memorizing things. You're understanding things. Well, that's exactly what you're doing in this life. You're learning about things. You're expanding yourself. You're realizing, why do I think the way that I think? Why do I act the way that I act? Why do I have the type of emotions that I have? Why do I have the relationships that I have in this lifetime? What is it that is causing me this pain? What is it that's causing me this strife? What is it about myself that I am not telling myself? This is the idea. This is the exam. This is why I've always said Earth is a curriculum. She's a grand university. Incarnation itself is a school. You're here to work, not to piss around. You're not just incarnating because you feel like, oh, I was bored and I'm going to go and incarnate just for the hell of it. Anybody that tells you that has no idea what they're even talking about. This is learning. This is living through a school, through a grand university, to learn about this, to concentrate, to condense yourself, to see who and what you are, and not trying to feel like everything external is controlling your every move, because it's not. When you look into the nature of yourself, you see that who and what I am, as vibration, as frequency, as thought, as manifestation, as action, that is creating a ripple. That's a perturbation. And the universe responds to that perturbation. And we have ripples and ripples of perturbation that continue to go out, that which we may be conscious of, and the great majority to which we're not. And we have to look at all the things that have hindered us. And a lot of it is letting go of the feeling of blame, and letting go of saying, oh, my mom was like this, my dad was like this, my siblings were like this, my teacher was like this, the president of my country is like this, the prime minister is like this, and you're just throwing some blames around, and that too is ignorance. The key to your liberation is taking self-responsibility. And that's almost like a swear word nowadays, but it's the truth nonetheless. The truth of the universe doesn't care about your feelings. This is the truth. And if you want to liberate yourself, it's about going within. It's about seeing what's happening in here, not thinking that you need to externalize something and resolve something external, right? It's when you get that clarity internally that you're resolving something, and then externally you see the completion of that situation. That's beautiful. But what's being said here is that the external is not the root to that problem. The external is the reflection of it. The internality, that's the root. Look into the Trauma Transcendence Technique course. It's free. It's available on my website, wisdomtransmissions.com. heal yourself, liberate yourself, take advantage while you're alive in this form, while you're concentrated, and perform it. And it's so easy, it's so simple. Of course, I'm always available when people have questions about it, but it's now time to liberate yourself, to shift yourself, to expand yourself to new heights, and see life for what it truly is once you're there, because there's nothing like what you think it is. You will not know what life truly is until you're truly at peace with it. Then you know. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again in another perspective. The now. Namaskar. May it be well with you. Bye for now.